Hello everybody and welcome back. In this video we are going to be focusing towards creating this custom list tile for our application. Our list tile is just going to be this one individual tile inside of our list, and it's going to be responsible for showing some kind of title, a subtitle, as well as an image and a status indicator. So with that said, let's get into it and let's see how we're going to be building it. So to get started, since this is going to be a reusable widget, I'm going to go to my widgets folder, and inside of here I'm going to delete this file, which I don't know, I accidentally created, and I'm going to create a new file which I'm going to call our custom underscore list underscore view underscore tiles dot dart. With this done, I'm going to open the file up. Inside of our file is where we're going to be placing our logic for our custom list view tile. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to firstly create a custom list view tile with activity class. So I'm going to import the only package that we require, and that's going to be our material package. So just let me import it. With that, I'm also going to be importing another package, which is going to be our package, which is going to show us a loading animation, and we're going to get it from our package which we had imported in the very beginning of this course called the Flutter Spin Kit. And this is going to provide us with custom loading animations. And I'm going to group these together and I'm going to put them under the comment of packages. With this done, the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to also import the two widgets that I require. The first widget is going to be the widget that we had created, which was the widget for rounded image. So with my rounded image button imported, the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to import the actual models that I require as well, since we've actually imported the models, and those are going to be // models, and then our chat message model, and we're going to // models, and then I'm going to import my chat user model as well. With this, I'm going to do command save, and now we're ready to create our custom list view tile with activity widget. So I'm going to close this version of our completed application. I'm going to open the one that we're currently developing, and I'm going to create a class which I'm going to call custom list view tile with activity. And then what I'm going to say is that it extends a stateless widget. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open the class definition up, and I'll be adding the properties that the class requires. The first property for our class is going to be the height of the tile. But this will also have a final string, which is going to be the title. So this is going to be the heading for our tile. We'll also have a string for the subtitle. We'll also have a string to the path of the image that is going to be displayed. And then with this, I'm also going to be adding a final Boolean value for isActive. And then I'm also going to be adding a final Boolean value for isActivity. And then I'm also going to be adding a function that gets passed into us when the actual tile gets tapped. What's going to happen? Once this is done, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to add the constructor for our class. So that's going to be custom tile view activity, and all of these are going to be named arguments. So I'm going to add the curly brackets, and inside of here I'll start adding them. So I'm going to say that we'll have a required this.height. Similar to this, we'll have a required this.title. We'll have a required this.subtitle. We'll have a required, and then this.image path. We'll have another required, and then that'll be this.isActive. We'll have another required, which will be the this.isActivity. And finally, we'll have the last required, which is going to be this.and on tap. And then with this, I'll add the comma, and I have to add a comma here as well. And then with this, I can do command save. Now, the next thing that we're going to be doing is that we're going to be focusing towards actually adding the logic for building the UI. So for now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that I'm going to create a build method, and inside of my build method, I'll just return, for now, a list tile. This is an actual widget that is provided to us by the Flutter material library. And inside of here, what I'll do is that I'll say that we'll have a title, which is going to be a text widget, the value of which is going to be whatever title that gets passed in, and then we'll have a style attribute for it, which is going to be of type text style. And then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say that the color is going to be colors.white. We'll also have a font size, which is going to be 18, and then we'll also have a font weight, which is going to be the font weight times W500. So I think it's capital font weight, and then from there I'll do W500. With this, I'm going to add a comma at the end. I'll do Alt-Shift-F, but I'm getting an error, and that's because of the fact that we don't have an ending bracket, and then add a comma here, do Alt-Shift-F, Command Save. And before I add any more UI elements to it, I'm going to go back to my chats page, and then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to actually go to my build method, to the container where I'm rendering my top bar, and underneath of my top bar, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add my custom list view tile. So I'm going to go to the widgets part of my imports, and I'm going to import /widgets, and then the custom list view tiles, and then I'm just going to come here, and for now we'll just put this here so we can actually see the changes that we're making, and I'm going to do custom list view tile with activity. Then I need to give it some information, and the information is going to be firstly the height. The height is going to be the device's height times 0.10, and apart from that, what I'll do is that I'll also give it a chat title. So I'll just say that it's Hussein Mustafa for the chat title. For the subtitle, I'm just going to give it the last message that I sent. Let's just say hello for now, just dummy values. Is activity, I'll just set that to false, and I'll show you what happens when we set it to true as well. I'm also going to set is active to false, and I'll show you what happens when we set that to true as well. For the onTap function, I'll just set an empty onTap function. And then for finally, the last thing where we require is going to be an image path. So I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to go to provatar.cc, this file, and I'm just going to copy this random image URL. So copy and then go back, and I'm just going to paste this in for the actual image URL and do Command Save. And hopefully doing this, you should see that we're kind of displaying the custom list view tile here. So now we're going to be working towards actually styling it. So now that we have all of the information going to the custom list view tile, we can start adding some stuff to it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that I am going to now work towards adding the actual onTap functionality to our list tile. So I'm going to say that onTap, what I'd like to do is that I'd like to have this arrow function, which is just straight up going to call the onTap function that we had defined. And that's pretty much all we have to do. With this done, the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a minimum vertical padding property to our list tile, and I'm going to say that it's going to be the height that gets passed in times 0.20. So this is referring to the space between two tiles when we put them inside of a list view. With this done, I'm going to be adding a leading widget, and a leading widget is going to be our actual image which we are going to be showing. And the image that we're going to be showing is going to be a rounded image. But on top of it being a rounded image, we also want that image to actually show us this activity sign at the end, which is like this red small button here, or this red small indicator here as well. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to end this video here, and then I'm going to, in the next video, actually create a new widget, which is going to be responsible for actually showing our rounded image network. With the status indicator image, like this kind of an image. And then once we have that widget created, then we'll implement that into our custom list view tile, all in the next video. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.